o'clock. So I am going to call the Zoning Board of Appeals special meeting for Wednesday, February 16th to order. We have 6 members of the zoning board present today. It takes 4 members to vote either in favor of a petition or opposing it. And we have one item on the agenda today. It is a tabled petition request. At this point, we would have to have someone vote, make a motion to bring it off the table.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Panabianco. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Jones. Any questions on the motion to remove the item from the table? Seeing none, we need to vote on that. If you would indicate by saying aye or raise your hand, that would be great. Those in favor, please say aye, raise your hand.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, it looks like it's unanimous to have the item removed from the table. So Jennifer, I will ask you to read the petition again, please.
Notice is hereby given that the Zoning Board of Appeals of the City of Jamestown, New York will hold a special public hearing on Wednesday, February 16th, 2022 at 5:00 p.m. via Zoom to consider the following. The petition of Lisa M. Volpe, 418 Hazard Street, Jamestown, New York, for an area variance to construct a 23 by 31 foot addition on parcel 404.07-8-42 located at 167 Brad Street in an R1 zone. Section 300-0305C setbacks. The minimum front yard setback in an R1 single family zone. The required front yard setback is 25 feet. Proposed is 10 feet and 15 feet. Please note that this petition was tabled at the February 2nd, 2022 regular meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Thank you. And at this point in the meeting, we will allow the petitioner to present additional information that was sent to us in advance. If you would just like to review that with us, Ms. Volpe, that would be very helpful.
Okay. Basically what is there is a new estimate from my contractor showing that he felt that the added expense of putting the addition on the front would be between $34,000 and $38,000. He estimated the whole addition is going to cost $118,400. And then I included some pictures in there of the interior and where the rooms are in the house to just show why we decided it was best to put it off to the side, because we could go through that existing bedroom and it wouldn't affect any of the windows in the house. What else did I include in there? I also included a picture showing where the addition would come to on the side lot, with the line up there shows how far it'll come to the street. And I also included a picture of what I feel the house, the addition is going to look like from both the front and the side. And that was basically all my new information.
Okay. Anything to add to that?
No, not really.
All right, at this time, then it's an opportunity for the board members to ask questions of the petitioner based on the information for the area variance. Are there questions?
Bathroom, make sure you unlock it.
Any questions from members of the board? Yes, Mr. Sandberg.
I don't have a question. I just want to thank Ms. Volpe for providing the extra information.
Sure, thank you.
Are there other questions or comments on the information? Ms. Volpe, I had a question related to the assessed value. I know during our first meeting, you said that number one, you hadn't been able to rent it or opted not to rent it during the COVID period because of difficulties, and that you hadn't been able to sell it. So I was just wondering if you could tell me what the current assessed value is, because it looks like you're going to put in about $120,000 of an addition. Am I correct?
Yep, and the assessment currently is 44.
Okay. And I think, and I'm not putting words in your mouth, but you said you couldn't sell it as it currently sat because, again, it's a very small house with just a single bedroom. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, any other clarifying questions or comments from members of the board?
Yeah, the only comment I would make in support of the variance is to first reorient ourselves. This is an area variance, which requires a balancing test. We're supposed to balance the benefit realized by the applicant against the potential deficit to the health, safety, general welfare of that neighborhood and that community. So this is much different than a use variance in which all elements have to be met for it to be granted. When you go through the elements, one where there'll be an undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood and to the nearby and other nearby properties as a result of this, I think certainly not. As the house is currently conceived, the garage is right up against the property line that Ms. Volpe's addition is going to be 15 and 13 feet back from. So it's not really creating an undesirable change. The structure is not getting closer to the property line. As it sits, it's uninhabited. And given all the money that's going to be put in, given that neighborhood, it's a nice neighborhood. I think it'll benefit the neighborhood. Whether benefits sought could be obtained by some other method when feasible, I don't think that it can. Even if it could, that would be a factor to balance. So even if it couldn't, even if we didn't have that new information, that in and of itself, I don't think would be a reason to deny the variance. The third, is the request substantial? Again, no, because the garage is already on the property line. Negative impact on the physical environmental conditions of the neighborhood. I don't see any negative impact. I only see benefits. And then was this self-created? Was the difficulty self-created? No, it's not as if the applicant purchased this property knowing full well that putting an addition on is going to violate the zoning code. I think she said her mother or her parent was in the house. The parent passed away, and she's looking to add an addition on. So again, I mean, I don't think looking at all of those, it seems to support it. Again, it's a balancing test. So it's not as if every element needs to be met. Even if every element did need to be met, it is met in this circumstance. And when you balance the benefit to the applicant versus any potential harm to the community, what you find is a benefit for the applicant and a benefit for the community. I think putting that addition on the house will probably only benefit the property values of the homes around it. So I just wanted to state why I feel that it should be granted.
Thank you, Mr. Panabianco. Other questions or comments from members of the board? We will ask at this point about correspondence. Last month, we did have some correspondence that was reported in on the meeting. And would you like to tell us if there's anything else that came in, Jennifer, about this?
We received nothing further.
Okay. In the prior month, we had received some correspondence all in favor of the granting of the variance request by people who lived in that neighborhood, either on Brad Street or on Ivy. Okay. At this point, we would be looking for a motion on the petition request for an area variance for Lisa Volpe on the property at 167 Brad Street. Is there anyone who would like to make a motion?
I will.
Mr. Panabianco? Mr.
I'll
Panabianco?
second it.
Okay. Mr. Kenyon?
I'll second it.
Mr. Panabianco, I am going to reference your comments as being the reasons why you're making a motion, your earlier comments about the balancing and going through each of the requests that we have to look at in terms of the area variance.
Sure.
Mr. Kenyon, are you okay with adding that information to the motion?
Yes. Yes.
We have a motion on the floor in a second. Questions on that? Seeing none, then I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Ms. Kame,
Yes.
Mrs. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Kenyon,
Yes.
Mr. Panabianco,
Yes.
Mr. Sandberg,
Yes,
and Chairwoman DeTanto.
Yes. At this point, Ms. Volpe, that variance request has been approved. You need now to work with Mr. Scalise and move forward on your project.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. Seeing no other items on the agenda, I am going to move that we adjourn. Thank you very much for everyone coming for a special meeting today.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.